Given the vastness of the area, it would be a little bit silly for us to go it alone up here. So we brought Richard along because he's an experienced guide. He's been up here before. He's familiar with the area. And he's seen a vent or some kind of hole in the mountain before, so we're trying to find that now. The cab ride up was no luxury tour. It was a rough ride, a lot of bumps. The trail alternated between snow and gravel. I think Kevin looked a little bit green on the way up. The snowcat has just dropped us off at the top of Archuleta Mesa. We're finally here, over 9,500 feet. Overlooking the entire Jicarilla Apache Reservation. The view is spectacular, and I can't help but think that if there's any truth to this story, that there is an underground base here. We couldn't be any closer to it.
Been waiting a long time for this, to get to actually to the top of Archuleta Mesa. And if there is an underground base here, and this is where we're going to find it.
So Richard, we're finally here at the edge of Archuleta Mesa, supposedly where so much of the activity is going on. You're our guide here. What do you know about what's going on around here?
There's a lot of things out here that we see flying in the sky. I'd rather keep them to myself. There's a lot of people around here that does the same thing.
If you leave the reservation with these stories,
yeah,
people don't believe you.
They think I'm nuts.
What have you seen up here?
Me and one of my cousins, we were walking the edge. We spotted a hole on this side.
A hole?
Now I hear things that it's a van or things like that.
It seems like Richard is hesitant to tell his story or his experiences. I'm not sure why. But then he goes on to tell me about a hole or event that he discovered. Now, he's not sure what it is, but I think that maybe this could be some evidence to show us that there is something underneath Archuleta Mesa. Before coming up here, so many people have wondered what these mystery towers were.
Some towers are transmitters for TVs and things like that.
From down the ground, they look like something special, out of place, out of the ordinary, but from right here, it just makes sense. I really want to find a vent. That's really what I want to find. I'm going to pull out the infrared camera and see if there are any unusual heat signatures in the area. The FLIR camera is measuring the difference in heat, and it's primarily used by law enforcement to hunt suspects at night. Now, what we're going to do is look for anomalies in the ground. If there is an air vent, if there's hot air coming out, it's going to be at a different temperature than the surface of the mesa itself, and we're going to find it. I don't expect any kind of sign that says, "Welcome to the underground base," or any armed guards or anything like that. What I'm hoping for is just some signs of human activity that's just kind of out of place.
That looks a little interesting.
I did see something interesting just down below. It was a mound of snow, and there was an outcropping of rock just on the southern face of it. And it had an interesting marking on it. Saw it with the binoculars. When I took the infrared camera to it, it looked completely normal.
While Kevin scanned the mesa with the FLIR camera, I pressed Richard a bit more about what he knew about the area. He began telling me about a tunnel system that he knew existed around here.
We got one that's over here on the east side from us. It's just a splitting of this water down there. It goes, down about 14 miles into that mountain you see over there.
He did tell me that there are underground tunnels to the south of the mesa. It's a 14-mile underground tunnel that goes under that mountain there.
Yes.
Everybody knows about this?
Oh, yeah.
And then I asked him if there were any other tunnels that he was familiar with. He said that there were holes that he couldn't take us to. Are there any other tunnels that you know about?
Yeah, I've seen 2 holes on this side.
There are more tunnels than we know about?
Yeah.
Is there any way you could take us to the holes?
No, I'm not going to go there.
When I pressed him further, he got a little uncomfortable, and he just said that's not his way. There are holes.
Yeah, I know where it's at, but I don't want to go there.
Okay. You know, it's important to remember that when you come to the Hickory Apache Nation, that you're really coming into another country, and they do have their own way. It seems like there's a secret in the family that they're not comfortable talking about, that they don't want to disclose, and that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from hanging out with Richard up here. Kevin, how you doing with the FLIR over there?
Tell you the truth, I'm not finding anything unusual. There are some hot spots, but they're all on the sunny side of a rock, the sunny side of a tree, coming to around 70 degrees.
After talking with all the people who live here around the base of the mesa, and even Richard, our guide, who was taking us up here, every one of them has a UFO story. If reality is a consensus of people agreeing on seeing something, then we have to start paying attention to the reality of the Hickory Apache, that they are seeing UFOs, and this does appear to be some kind of UFO area.
Pat and Kevin have seen some incredible things at Dulce. We've heard amazing stories, we've listened to eyewitness testimony, and we've seen credible evidence. But after everything they've seen and heard, they're still on the fence. There's still one more place I want to take Pat and Kevin, which may help bring them around.
I really find it hard to believe that there's a secret bunker hidden somewhere here.
Best way to keep a secret? Hide it in plain sight.
Although we've seen some mind-boggling things at the Dulce base in New Mexico, if there's any doubt about whether a base such as Dulce could exist, we are here at White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, the home of one of our government's best-kept secrets. We're here at the Greenbrier, and the Greenbrier was a beautiful hotel built in 1913, but underneath the Greenbrier and set into the hill is the congressional facility for maintaining continuity of government in the event of a nuclear war. We're about to meet Linda Walls, who is going to take us through this facility and point out all the features that make this facility so important to us.
This hotel, this property has a tremendous history. We date the resort to 1778, 6,500 acres, 721 guest rooms.
Just standing here looking around, I really find it hard to believe that there's a secret bunker hidden somewhere here.
Believe it.
When was it actually built?
The construction was between 1958 and 1961, and on top of the bunker is the West Virginia wing.
About how big is the bunker?
112,544 square feet. Best way to keep a secret? Hide it in plain sight. Behind this, you're going to be amazed at what you'll see.
You mean you're not talking about these doors right here?
So how do you open it?
Well, if you could just help. Thanks, Pat.
Sure.
Watch your fingers.
Okay.
Once you move the wall, you uncover an 18-ton vault door. One of 3 in the facility that closed off the underground structure from the outside world.
Once the decision would have been made to seal the bunker, there would have been no way to get in from the outside. There was a 60-day supply of food. There was a 42-day supply of diesel fuel.
To have even known about this facility, you would have had to have had a top-secret government security clearance. However, every day, hotel guests here at Greenbrier walk through these camouflaged big vault doors into this conference center, and they never knew they were standing in a top-secret government facility.
It's huge.
It's over 16,000 square feet. Thousands of people have been in here. but they didn't know they were actually in a part of the bunker. This room was used for exhibits, medical exhibits, book exhibits, parties.
When the time came that the government had to continue, what did this room become?
The room would have been subdivided into 24 offices for the support staff of Congress.
I mean, there are hospitals, dormitories, there's even a crematorium. There are places for families and aides to stay.
Now, how is it possible that this place was kept a secret without the hotel employees and people of the town knowing about it?
I, like so many others, had heard for years that there was something here.
So you were working here while the bunker was still a secret?
Yes.
Did you ever see somebody walking through the hotel, suspicious-looking character, and think, he must be on his way to the secret facilities?
We did wonder about some of those television repairmen.
So that was the cover. All these people for television repair crews came in, and literally they were the ones working on this facility.
Now we know they were spending 85% of their time on shelter management.
This whole thing sounds like a page from a spy novel, and if the government can construct a facility of this size in plain sight and have it be completely covered up, I guess there's a possibility that in Dulce, New Mexico, something similar on a much larger scale could happen, given it's in the middle of nowhere.
When did you first learn, for real, what this was?
The day the article appeared in the Washington Post magazine.
Until the Washington Post broke the story, nobody knew that this hotel was a cover for an underground facility, literally a bunker, to house the legislative branch of government in time of war.
The last government truck left July 31st, 1995.
So that's 3 years it might have taken to actually build a facility to replace this.
Unless there were other facilities
Already in existence.
Exactly. When you visit a place like Greenbrier, with this extensive facility that was constructed under the very eyes of the people working here, it tells me that of course you could have a Dulce.
Bill has a point that it's very incredible that this kind of facility can be built right in front of the public eye. We know that this underground facility is 112,000 square feet, and based on what we learned about the secret base in Dulce, and some calculations that I did, I actually learned that it could be over 3,000 times the size of a facility at Greenbrier. We know that Greenbrier took 3 years to build, so it could have taken 10 years, decades to construct any kind of base at Dulce, and there's not even any evidence that it was ever built in the first place.
The people who built Dulce could have built it for a variety of reasons, with a variety of cover stories. And where are they building it? On reservation land. Nobody's going to question that. And even if they did, they'd be told to shut up.
I mean, Homo sapiens were capable of incredible things. If we really put our mind to it, if engineers really wanted to build a base under Archuleta Mesa and keep it a secret, we have the technology to do that. It could be done.
Here's what I believe. We've spoken to first-hand witnesses, eyewitnesses, who've seen craft hovering over the Archuleta Mesa. We've spoken to people who've talked about cattle mutilations, who've actually seen black helicopters hovering over the countryside. We've seen actual photos of the strangest kind of entity I've ever seen in my entire life. A fetus in the womb of a mutilated cow, but it's not a cow fetus. What is it? Is there some strange genetic experimentation going on in Archuleta? Is there interbreeding of species going on and incubation inside cows, which is why they're mutilating this cattle? If you don't believe that all this can go on under the very eyes of an entire population, we went to Greenbrier in West Virginia, a completely undisclosed, top-secret, underground base constructed right before the very eyes of hundreds of hotel guests and workers. Greenbrier proves that underground secret bases are not just a possibility, but probably an absolute reality.